Then they can really
position you on.
Necrophiliacs really are able to plow when the rigor is gone.
Maybe like throw in the microwave?
No.
Temperature's not an issue?
No, hell no, not for a necrophiliac. They just wait till they can get a good spread in.
Terrible. This is affecting me. Number 3, brain electrical activity halts. This one is no surprise. Well, none of them are a surprise. The electrical storm that rages in every living head whirls to a stop. The rest of the organs follow suit as the instructional electrical pulses cease to surge down the spinal cord.
I'm glad I'm never going to experience this. It's awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Too bad for you guys.
Yeah, it is. The next one, I don't know if I'm pronouncing right or not. It's either algor mortis or algor mortis. ALGOR MORTIS.
I don't know. I've never heard of such a thing.
Body temperature plummets once the lungs fail.
All right.
This phase is known when the body's furnace is completely extinguished and the body temperature matches room temperature.
Yeah. Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
This one I wasn't aware of. Well, I guess I was sort of aware of it because you've seen at an open casket, you've seen them have to put makeup on in order to put a normal coloring on the face, but I didn't know why. Facial color change. Death massages the color out of the face, leaving it to anywhere from yellow to gray to bluish black.
Yep.
Yeah.
The jaw, did you know this? The jaw unfurls and locks open, like Wilhelm Scream, that famous painting.
Yeah, I know that the morticians sew a lot of things shut. Mouth,
so they
eyes.
sew or wire the jaw for the sake of the open casket funeral.
I'm going to put specific instructions that says no makeup and jaw must be open. And you can hang ornaments for my teeth.
How crazy! I want to have grills in my teeth, like a rap star.
Make it really gross and all a practical joke. I demand my eyes be dug out and dangle from casket like something you'd hang on a rearview mirror.
When you hear what happens to the eyes, I don't know that it'll be necessary because everybody has an image of what death looks like because of what you've seen at funeral homes.
Right. This is all the stuff that your friend Doug does for a living, right?
No, his dad.
His dad
and his
I thought
brother.
Doug did it.
No, Doug is a
school teacher.
He works at a college.
Okay. All right.
And but yeah, he would have grown up with it to a degree. I've never asked him if he ever went and hung out at Dad's work because his brother has taken over the family business.
Yeah. Take your son to work day. Oh, son. Dump out this bodily fluid in the drain while we go and pump the veins full of whatever it is to keep them from rotting.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated by how someone gets into that field. Like my friend Doug's dad he got a part-time job mowing the lawn at the funeral home, and was around it long enough that he went,
no,
maybe I'll do this because it was good money. If you find a place where, like in the area where they lived, if you opened the funeral home, it's a monopoly. No one comes in and no one tries to beat you with low prices in a funeral sale. If you're the one, you're it. There's nobody else.
Yeah, my buddy Brian's brother-in-law is in that line of work, and I talked to him extensively about it when my friend Brian was getting married. And we had the rehearsal and everything. The rehearsal dinner was back at his house, the mortician.
I had it, Joe. The Vance Ferguson line is about to make an appearance as we talk.
And I started talking because he couldn't seem like a more normal guy. You always kind of expect him to be a bit creepy and everything. The guy's married to Brian's sister. They got 2 wonderful looking kids. I mean, it couldn't be more all-American family, but the guy's a mortician. And I was talking to him about some of the stuff, and I go, man, that is so crazy.
It is.
Because, and I can't remember if I just talked about this on the radio or not, but Brian's grandpa just died, my friend Brian. And he goes, oh, yeah, Tim did address the body, and I go, oh, that's got to be weird doing somebody you know. He goes, oh, that's not the worst. He goes, he did his own grandmother. I go, God, that's got to be the weirdest, man. I can't. He goes, well, he's just so desensitive. It means nothing to him at this point, but I go, I don't care.
Yeah, I think quite the opposite. They want to do it because they think they're the best at it, and they want to make sure that the body is well taken care of.
That's exactly how Vance Ferguson got his start.
Yeah?
Hot Wings. Exactly like
I
it.
didn't know that.
I thought Vance just made tombstones.
Spread your cheer as death is near this holiday season with Vance Ferguson Memorial Cemetery plots. And now the new wing. Mortuary.
The new wing?
Yeah.
Come into our open house. If you're in the mood to die, Vance Morrison Vance Ferguson is your guy at our new mortuary wing here at Vance Ferguson Cemetery Plots and now Mortuary.
With free Wi-Fi.
Come check out our new crematorium where we can burn your loved one and make Christmas cookies.
Savings, you'll be burning the savings like we do your loved ones at Vance Ferguson's today. Enjoy a panini and a designer coffee.
Designer coffee. I don't know what a panini is, but we have them at Vance Ferguson.
Hey, Free Beer and Hot Wings show listeners, welcome back. It's me, Dr. Death, Vance Ferguson. Death has never been so chic. You two can put Grandma with a lovely feather boa as she resides in her new home 6 feet underground.
2 things are falling in Benton Harbor today: lake effect snow and death prices.
Who said death couldn't be a bargain at Vance Ferguson's 2-for-1 sale with Panini?
Number 6 on this list of 12 things that happen to your body after death: milky eyes. Zane, you were saying you want the body untouched and you're going to gouge your eyes out. Instead, you can just let them go milky. The pupils retreat into the skull like pulled blinds, leaving behind the milky whites of the eye. The eyeballs also flatten from their bulbousness, taking the shape of small curved plates. Man,
all the
please,
fluid drains out.
dear baby Jesus, please don't make me ever see a dead body. Thanks. I know that's almost impossible, but
When was the last dead person? I saw a dead person a few weeks ago. It was terrible.
like in a casket, like
Yeah, it's the worst.
that's it for me. It's been a long
Yeah, it's
time.
been a long time.
Joe,
Last week for me.
last week.
Yeah, I had to go with Hey You. One of her co-workers' moms passed away.
Oh, God.
So I went with her to the memorial.
Yeah,
The worst.
Yeah.
Putrefy is next.
yeah.
Putrefy is also decompose. Within 48 to 72 hours, putrefaction hits.
It stinks really bad. I don't know what it is.
Bacteria ravishes the body from the inside out, spreads from the bowels to the abdomen to the upper thighs and chest.
Yeah.
The skin turns as the color of green envy turns to royal purple and then ends as black death. Their wording doesn't
smell
help
good
make
enough
this
for you
feel
in
any
there?
better.
No.
How do you like the
Enzymes
smell? Is it good?
destroy the tissue as the body starts, quote, eating itself. Released enzymes gnaw on dying tissue. The skin, if the body isn't embalmed, turns from blue to creamy white,
Sasha,
followed by the bloating.
going inside the caravan.
That's Chris Farley right there, Joe.
Then the maggots.
Come on.
Oh.
Don't you really?
Yes.
Maggots?
Only if it's
just emerge?
It has to be exposed to, like if the body is not kept contained.
So, like, if you just die in your house and no one finds you,
Yeah.
this would happen to you.
How long does it take before there's just bones, I wonder? I mean,
They can- It might say at the end of this. I'm not sure. That they say that they can. Forensic specialists can tell how long someone's been dead by how mature the maggots are.
oh. Yeah,
like at
that's
that,
amazing.
like at
I
that
see.
body farm at the University of Tennessee, just south of town in Knoxville.
Yeah.
This is the one that I don't know why, because this is all terrible, and I'll be dead when it happens to me, so it won't matter. But this one really grossed me out. 7 days pass. The decaying skin begins to give way to dozens of blisters, each one crimson red in color. The faintest touch would cause the blister to burst, causing horrible pain if you weren't already dead.
Ooh. Oh, my God.
The final rot. In the end, the body returns to dust from whence it came.
soupy.
The entrails decompose
soupy.
into a putrid liquid.
Sauce in your mouth is better than on your chin.
The nails and teeth lose grip at the root, and the hair strands let loose of the follicles. Within 4 short weeks, what was once a person has become nothing more than a skeleton. Zane, 4 weeks?
Jeez.
I thought it was much longer than that.
I didn't think it was that quick. I didn't either. I guess if you're exposed to all those elements.
Oh, man. Gosh. That sucks,
Don't
man.
like that at all.
Yuck.
Oh.
I can't die. I don't like
Bet no
any
one's
of that.
listening who has gone through that and lived.
Here comes the gravy.
Who's experienced those symptoms but alive?
Michael writes, did you say we can share panini? I almost fell out of my GD chair. I love Vance Ferguson.
Vance Ferguson here, Thank you for your support. Come see me in Bannon Harbor today.
Tim writes, this is so gross. I went and bought a banana just to throw out the window. Let's see. Oh,
She's dead.
just the subject line alone of that one made me grossed out. The subject line, funeral, blood, and toilet. I don't need to read the rest. I've already got something stuck in my head. Oh, that was uplifting.
Yeah, that was
Educational, this show.
We learn things.
Yeah.
We like to share things we learn.
Again, welcome to 97.9X, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. First day. 60% of us showed up on the first day.
Yeah. That's 3/5.
Charity marathon in Disney, a tradition for Zane and Steve and a lot of listeners to the show that end up going, and they help raise a lot of money. So it's actually a really cool event. And for us, we just like to work after 2 weeks off.
Yes. I do not like to run.
Feels like the middle of the night today because, and anybody who works those sort of odd hours, when the alarm went off at 3 this morning, that felt very disjointed. Not complaining. Well, I guess I am a little bit.
Well,
But
it's
I
just
mean,
weird, yeah.
it's better than
takes
making
a while to get into the swing of things.
29 cents an hour making Dallas Cowboys apparel in Cambodia. So, I mean,
It does
all
top
things
that.
considered, I'm feeling pretty good about getting up at 3. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But still, it felt a little weird. Race to the coffee.
Yeah. Feeling a little off.
Check the website, freebeerandhotwigs.com. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wigs Show. Today, 42 the high. It is a cool start, about 33 downtown GR, though towards the end of the week, that'll be feeling pretty good. Maybe some snow on the way as well towards the end of the week. We'll see.
It's time for the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
If I ever see me from the waist down in a story about the fattening of America, the next thing I see will be an approaching brick wall as I speed my car towards it.
The only way you can't feel really bad about yourself is if you see that shot from the waist down and it says, "Our wiener's getting bigger."
Right.
Like, news report. And finally tonight.
What if they showed that and then Zane turned around eating a hot dog and went, "What?"
That's right. That's right. It all gets on me eating one.
Yep.
No, I'm actually eating a stubby veiner.
The Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
It's Monday. It's the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. Free Beer, Hot Wings, producer Joe. Steve on vacation, Eric Zane in Florida for the AT Marathon, the Disney Marathon for AT.
Yep.
A taxi at Telangiectasia, a charity tried to raise money for the last several years. They do a great job going down, they and a lot of listeners running for that. First day on 97.9 X, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Thanks for giving us a try. No doubt you hate the show today. That's typical on the first day.
Yeah.
Probably may have liked Jim, who was on before us. Hopefully you'll give us a try. See how it goes.
Yep.
1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots@freebeerandhotwigs.com. It's the I Can't Wait to Talk About Blank segment. Intern Keanu Dynamite is standing by to screen your phone calls. It's been a while since we were on. Not as long for some people as for others. We guest hosted the Dan Patrick Show twice over the holidays. On the 27th and 28th of December, I think it was.
Yep. That's right.
We didn't tell anyone we were doing that in advance because there are some stations where we were. There are some cities, because the show, our regular show, is on in multiple locations. There are other spots, some cities, where they choose to cover up our guest appearances on the Dan Patrick Show.
Right.
Which is syndicated to about 200 stations.
Yeah.
When we're on there, because they don't want us there. So we thought, I wonder if they read their emails, because I know that an email is sent out saying, guest host will be Mike Florio, so-and-so, and the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Right.
And the answer is no. They don't read those emails.
Because they don't. Yes, and you know, in many of those markets, the Dan Patrick Show would be run on what is considered a competing radio station to the one that we are on.
So we might have did a sneak and a little bit of a sneak attack in that. It worked, by the way.
Yeah, it
In
did.
at least one of the stations, we made it 2 hours and 45 minutes into the 3-hour show before some amazing technical difficulties took us off the air.
I was going to say, I saw emails come in that somebody was scrambling at some point.
Yeah.
That
We
means
wrecked somebody's morning.
in numerous places we were competing with ourselves in best of.
Yes. Which is awesome.
There were certain parts of the country where you could have heard us on 4 signals at any given time.
Man, we were everywhere.
Yeah.
We were worldwide.
But that was really fun. And those were great shows.
They were fun. It was weird, though, because we were in different locations, which is not...
Yeah.
That's not typical, obviously. We're usually all in the same room. But in that case, I was traveling with my family to visit in-laws. Mm-hmm. So you and Zane were here, free beer. Mm-hmm. And then I was 800 miles away in another studio.
And then the producer was in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so literally, I'm on the East Coast. You guys are in the middle. And it's being controlled in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Which still boggles my mind how that's possible.
That had to be weird because you're on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to sports knowledge. So you are at least in your comfort zone when we are guest hosts on the Dan Patrick Show. Is that fair? I'm not being
Absolutely.
insulting.
No, that's true.
If we get invited to fill in for Click and Clack on Car Talk, I'm doing is giving the phone number and then sitting down.
Yeah, I'm in.
not
man.
doing
I'm
anything.
good. Yeah, I can do that,
But so then not only are you on the bottom of the totem pole as far as sports knowledge, but also you couldn't see us.
no.
You could have that had to be uncomfortable. You're sitting in a room by yourself, and you're part of a conversation. That has to be a strange feeling.
It was really weird because I was in a production room, which traditionally in a radio station is kind of just in the middle. It's like a closet.
like
it's
a bomb shelter.
Yeah, there's no windows. And it was a skeleton crew for that radio station where I was filling in that gave me the space. And so I'm in there, and everybody else that's there doesn't know who I am. I don't know who any of those people are. And it really was like you're walking in, and I'm walking around the halls getting coffee, and I'm seeing people, and I'm seeing them looking at me.
They're trying to figure out if you're a new salesperson or if you just got hired. Whether or not they should be nice to you.
Yeah, I assume they probably figured I was just, holiday part-timer guy. They have no idea that I've been doing the morning show on that station for 10 years.
There were people that saw you that said, I'm not going to introduce myself because he'll be fired by the time the holiday party gets here.
Right. So I'm walking around getting coffee, and I don't know anybody, and it's that... I mean, I've never done this, but to me it seems like the idea that you really would be watching television at a stranger's house while they're home. There's that kind of like... Hey, how's it going? And you just kind of feel out of place.
And neither of you acknowledges that what's there is not what it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, it seemed really weird. And, it was fine when we were just talking between us. But when we would have a guest, I'm not a great interviewer anyway. But when I couldn't see you guys and I couldn't raise my hand and try, it was like impossible to interject at all.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Joe, would you be surprised to learn that when we had the 2 NBA experts on, Dennis Scott on one day and then Chris Mannix, who covers the NBA the next day, that it was like it was just me and them?
I'm not surprised. I mean, it's no surprise that I didn't say anything. I don't know squat about the NBA, but Zane didn't say a word either.
Oh, yeah.
All I could hear was this.
Stupid nose whistle.
Oh, God, his nose whistle. Jesus, man. How can he not hear that every day? I'm like, dude. Like, he's the first, if I have a slight whistle, he's the first one to go, dude, I can hear your nose whistle, man. You're throwing off the whole mojo of the show. I can't think. Jeez, man. But every day, you're going, God, man, just pick that thing. It's giant. How can you have a whistle? How can you have a booger big enough to make a whistle in that thing?
On the other hand, that must have been your wet dream, free beer.
It was pretty good, man.
You were great.
It was my favorite. To talk NBA and to do the show without these guys.
That's what you were supposed to do.
My 2 dreams came together.
You were great.
For 2 9-minute segments while we were on vacation.
Yeah. When we fill in host for some national show and I can interview Ed Welburn, design chief of GM,
I'm good. First of all, there are no national shows that have any success that would interview Ed Welburn about anything.
It's true.
That will never happen.
I know.
You're the
And
only
so-
one who even knows that name. I know. The guy who works under him doesn't know his name.
The only way anyone's going to know his name is if he gets arrested for some sort of child pornography. That's the only way that his name's going to come up. And then he's not going to do interviews.
No.
Now, my wife and I have our first child on the way in March. And preparations for that. Because I had traveled so much during the fall football season doing play-by-play for games, and just with our regular show duties, a lot of it, the planning had been pushed back to, okay, when we go on vacation for the holidays, we're not going anywhere, we're not doing anything specifically, preparation will begin. And so we did a lot of that. We went and bought the car seats, the pack and play, and the stroller.
Oh, yeah.
That was incredibly expensive, and all that stuff seems the same to me. That was not any fun. But then we also did baby CPR class. Now it's an important class. I'm glad that I did it. The odds of having to use any of that are slim, according to most parents. But at the same time, in Hot Wings, your two sons are both very young.
Yeah.
Grayson's 2.5 and Liam's 9 months. I'm sure you went through the same thing. I left that class 1,000% paranoid that everything terrible is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, our son will be choking when a pot of boiling water falls on.
Yeah.
But there's no
There's
question.
no doubt.
And he'll have a heart attack at the same time. It's all going to happen. It'll be the third ever baby heart attack.
Yeah.
Paranoid.
Yeah, some of those classes I almost wish you didn't go to. You know what I mean? Like as you're going through them, you go, well, the odds that I'm going to be able to do this properly are slim anyway if something goes wrong. I mean, I'm going to immediately call 911. So, and we live like only a mile from the fire station, so hopefully they'll get there in time because I'll probably just screw it up anyhow. And it gets into your head. I mean, it really does. Even now, I mean, you'll find that throughout the duration of their childhood and probably until you die. Frankly, I'm sure, because even now there are times where, you know, like the baby will be sleeping in the crib and you walk in and you go, is his chest moving? And you're trying to see in the dark and you're waiting to see like movement. Oh yeah, he's alive. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was dead for a minute.
Absolutely.
And then you'll have those, especially because you'll have these moments where for no reason it'll just get into your head. Like you'll be brushing your teeth or something in a different room and you just start thinking about like things that could go wrong, and then you go, gotta check on the baby. Gotta check on the baby right now. Oh, he's fine.
Yeah. I can totally see that though. And I know that most people will never have to use it, but that's very important to know it. In fact, Travis in Nashville. Hi, Travis.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Travis, are you going to scare the crap out of me?
Man, I took that class when I was in college about 4 years ago. And like 2 weeks ago, my little boy, we cut his hot dog pieces up real small, but one just went down the wrong way, dude, and he just started choking. So I did the one where you put them in your palm and you have them straddle your arm at a 45-degree angle downward, and you do a little pat on the back, kind of push it outward.
Right.
Well, man, that hot dog went flying right out, dude, first lick.
But thank God you knew what to do. Otherwise, you'd have just panicked and, you know, what do you do?
Oh, man, I wouldn't have known what to do, especially somebody that small, you know. It's rough.
Absolutely. I'm glad he's okay. Thank you, Travis.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
See, that's the thing. You think,
Yeah. In a pinch, you just hit him with a phone book.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's better than nothing. No, I'm not sure it is better. I'm going to take that back.
Yeah.
I'm going to take back the part where I said, I guess it's better than nothing.
That's true. It's true.
It might be better than nothing.
Yeah.
But do not write down that Hot Wings said, if you don't know what to do, hit him with a phone book.
Blunt force. Yeah, it'll dislodge.
The phone book won't leave a bruise. That's well known from CIA interrogations.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a scary feel. That's scary when your kid starts to choke. Mine has done that a couple of times. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Did you have to do the?
No, nothing major, but it's where he starts to shove a little too much food in there at once. You're going, dude, you got to slow down, buddy. Mm-hmm. One at a time. But he's got a couple crackers in there or something. The next thing you know, he's going, and you go, oh Jesus, and then you just. I've had to put my finger in there a couple of times and hook it out of there. Like a big wad of cracker or something.
reason to breastfeed until they're really old.
Yeah, until the child refuses, which could be 20.
Could be. Probably not. They'd keep going. At that point.
And that's why Joe is never choked.
Plus, it helps his mom stay slender. All those
It pushed off menopause.
Joe, what did you do? Go to Chicago and bag some of it?
Yes, that's what I do.
For the holiday.
She pumps and sends care packages.
It's a magic eraser and 2 bottles of milk.
Oh, Jesus.
I froze this in 1986.
She's ready to quit, though, so that's why Ellen and I are trying to get pregnant.
Joe needs nourishment.
I must feast.
As you got older, did your mom do things to vary your diet, like adding cigarettes and vodka?
Joe's a parasite.
He really likes it when he's breastfeeding if I blow pot smoke in his face.
Oh, my God. Speaking of kids over the vacation, not much went on, really. It was pretty benign for me. But we did go visit several times with my father-in-law, who is at an assisted living place.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of old people there.
Yeah.
And my kids were a huge hit.
I bet.
Old people love little kids.
Sure.
2.5 and 9 months, especially Grayson, is 2.5-year-old. He's pretty active. He's a hand. He'll play hide and seek and just make goofy faces. He's a real hand. And so the old ladies were loving him. They were playing with Thomas the Tank Engine with him and stuff on their walkers.
Right?
Yeah, they're sitting there. So then we're getting ready to go at one point, and this old lady comes down with a walker. And, the head-to-toe black velour tracksuit, the whole bit. She's getting
like
ready to...
Polly Walnut.
She's just like Polly Walnut. She's getting ready to go to lunch, and we're saying goodbye to the father. And Grayson sees her, and she sees him. He starts hammering up, and she's just loving it. And he's looking at her. He's crouching down, looking at her under an end table.
Mm-hmm.
So she's crouching down, looking at him under the end table, playing like peekaboo, above and below.
Right.
Well, old people aren't meant to do that because their equilibrium ain't so great. So the next thing I know, I see it coming, but I'm about 12 feet away. I'm too far for interception. When old lady takes a tumble.
Oh, no. That doesn't feel good.
She does a backward stutter step and then falls and hits her head on the back of the couch.
Oh, my God.
Gosh, did you go to her funeral?
I go, oh, no. And then you go, am I responsible?
Yes.
I go, well, I'm not, but I feel like I am because it was my kid was being so cute. She fell down.
Yeah, she had a cute attack.
Oh, no. And so Mildred was fine.
Until a week from now when she's eating her cold oatmeal and has a hemorrhage and dies. The doctor's going to go, it's a mystery. No, it's not. She slammed her head on a table.
She had a little red mark on her forehead, this poor old lady. I'm thinking about my own grandmother at this point. I go, oh, no. She stands up and immediately a nurse runs over and picks up her
crash cart,
her gooey body. And she, she's like waving a finger in her eye and like looks side to side.
Concussion test.
Oh my God! I inadvertently, through my own offspring, have killed an old lady. So as far as
she
I
hit
know,
her head so hard, James Harrison was fined $50,000 by the NFL,
and he said he'd do it again. I felt terrible. And it wasn't my fault.
That's a bad feeling to see.
Seeing an old lady.
You don't want to see an old person fall.
Oh my God! And actually, it was good that the couch was. I mean, she did kind of bonk her head on the back of it, but it also slowed her down because her arm went.
She should probably know her limitations, though. You might have done her a favor.
I felt
probably
so
not
terrible that she was having such a good time playing peekaboo with my kid. It was so cute for a second.
The only way,
adorable.
I kind of wish, not that I don't wish this would have happened, but since it did happen, the only way it could be better is if your son had gotten rowdy and pushed her down and she smashed her head. Now then you'd feel terrible. You would feel like a monster.
Well, he has gotten to that stage where he thinks it's fun to
roughhouse?
body, to give a leg drop to Dad's neck and stuff like that while I'm just sitting there minding my own business. So it's not impossible that he could have run over and just jumped on her torso. But thankfully, he didn't do that.
Up next, a shocking ending to one of the NFL playoff games yesterday. And the one before that, the Giants and the Falcons. What a snooze.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. They should disband the team in Atlanta. Terrible. Later this hour, 5 things will be more expensive this year and 5 things that will be less expensive. I enjoy the less expensive portion of that list way more than the more expensive, and I think you will too. That's coming up. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. Eric saying partly cloudy today, 42 the high. It's 32 now. A little bit later on during the network portion of the show, we'll have a story about Aaron Berry, the Lions cornerback, dropped an interception that he should have had on Saturday. Took some criticism and then responded on Twitter. The response is a problem.
I am a waster.
Now, back to the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
Free Beer, Hot Wings, producer Joe here today. Zane and Steve will be back. Zane tomorrow, Steve in a week or so. Keanu Dynamite screening your phone calls. 1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. All the stories and stuff we talk about today, at least most of them, will have links or videos at freebeerandhotwings.com, including in a half hour, a woman who's bungee jumping will probably keep thousands of people worldwide from ever bungee jumping.
Oh, yeah.
Joe wanted to do it until then, but not now. Probably not going to work. Our very own producer Joe is a thrill seeker.
Yeah.
This will be a thrill you will not seek because of this video. Is that true?
No, actually, I don't really think that's true. I think I'll still at some point go bungee jumping, but this really makes me think about it
Maybe
a second longer.
We may have a next big Joe adventure because of this.
When I went to Colorado Springs not too long ago, we went to this bridge. It's the highest suspension bridge in the U.S., maybe the world.
Yeah.
And I looked down off that thing, and people have bungee jumped off of it. And before we got there, I was thinking, I think I can do this. I got there, and
I remember you sent us some photos. It seems terrible.
Yeah.
Well, this lady's bungee jumping was the nightmare that everybody always thinks about. That comes up in a half hour. 1-800-947-3979. You can email idiots@freebeerandhotwings.com. In the NFL yesterday and over the weekend, it was Wild Card Weekend. Always one of the, I think that weekend and next weekend, you could make the case that they are the best weekends of the year for NFL fans. Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. And so yesterday, there were 2 games. But first, let's start with Saturday's game. The Houston Texans playing their first ever playoff game as the Houston Texans. The first playoff game in Houston since the Oilers moved to Tennessee, first to Memphis.
Wow.
Then to Nashville. So the Texans finally make it. They take on the Bengals, who a lot of people thought would be the worst team in the NFL.
Andre Johnson wondering if he would ever get to play in a playoff game. In his 9th season, a 5-time Pro Bowler got his chance today, had a touchdown catch, and now can celebrate a playoff win. As the first ever playoff game in franchise history is a win, 31-10 over Cincinnati.
They blew them out, but that crowd was insane. The key play came from J.J. Watt, who started at our alma mater as a tight end and then left school, was delivering pizzas, and he thought, hey, what am I doing with my life? And he decided to walk on at Wisconsin, where he became a premier defensive end and ended up getting drafted into the National Football League. And then he took that pass back to the end zone for a touchdown. He made a catch that a lot of receivers couldn't make, that close, thrown that hard. It was a great play. Then, later on that night, disappointing for all of us as Lions fans growing up, but it was nice to finally be in. It hurt my heart a little bit during the game when they kept talking about how many years it's been since the Lions had done anything.
God.
And they showed that
I mean,
decades montage.
Every Lions fan is aware that there's only one playoff win since 1957. But when they said the 1960s, 0 playoff wins, the 70s, 0 playoff wins, the 80s, 0 playoff wins, the 90s, 1 playoff win, the 2000s, 0 playoff appearances.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this feels terrible. But I felt okay because the Lions were up at the half. And then, not so much.
And that kneel down will end the game. 626 yards for the Saints. Total offense in the game is 1,038 yards. 45-28, San Francisco. Here they come. Saints beat the Lions in New Orleans.
I knew there was some trouble when at halftime the report from Michelle Tafoya said, Sean Payton, the coach of the Saints, said, we're not really too worried. I mean, they haven't stopped us. The only time they've stopped us is when we fumbled. They've shown no ability to stop us other than that. And I thought, might be true, because it is true.
Yeah.
And then they went out and had just one long drive after another. Brutal. They look really good. And the Lions are maybe a year away from being that elite level. They might be 5 years or never away.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Now, yesterday, one of the most intriguing matchups was the first game, the Giants and the Falcons. The Falcons' best record in the NFC last year. The Giants squeaked into the playoffs, but because they benefit from geography, they won their division with an 8-8 record. They get a home playoff game against a team that won 10 games and finished second in their division. But it was all G-men.
New York Giants, think about this season and where they've been. And Tom Coughlin, who has gone on and off the hot seat more than any coach in this league. And all the whispers about his job security at all. And he's going to take his team, the New York Giants, into Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers next Sunday here on Fox.
Now, I'm sure that game was fun for Giants fans. Of course it was. But that was boring.
Oh, my gosh. They got
boring football.
All you
Falcons
get is
are
a
terrible.
safety? That's it?
Their coach is taking a lot of heat for a couple of decisions he made where he decided to go for it on fourth down with some quarterback sneaks against a very good defensive front from New York. Eli spoke after the game about what's coming up. Now, the question is, will he give an athlete answer or will he say something compelling? I believe it'll be an athlete answer.
No, it's special, and especially the first playoff win in the new stadium, in the MetLife Stadium. That's a big win today. Guys came out and defense played awesome. Second half, offense finally got going, ran the ball. We started hitting some big plays, so a great win today.
I can't let you celebrate long. Your thoughts as you head into Green Bay?
Yeah, obviously we know they're a great team. We played them, and we played them tough. So we just got to have a great play and go in there, and then give it our all. Hopefully our defense continue to play well. Offensively hit some big plays and see what happens.
We're going to give it our all and see what happens.
Do you think the Giants really sat around and said, man, this is satisfying to get the first win in the playoffs in this new stadium? Holy cow. We'll always have that.
Wow, that'll be great. And then as far as Green Bay goes, well, we'll just give it the old college try and then, woohoo.
Don't get me wrong. What else is he supposed to say?
Well, I don't know, but those answers are always those diplomatic answers. Well, we're going to give it our all and see how it goes.
The interviews are it's terrible. It's lose-lose because you have to ask, look forward to Green Bay for us. And the only answer he can give is, well, they're obviously very good. They had the best record in the conference. They only lost one game, the best record in the NFL. They're the defending. There's nothing else to say unless the only way it's interesting is if he says, I hate those guys.
Yeah, screw them.
That team is filled with a bunch of communists, and I hate them. But that never, the only time, that happens once in a blue moon.
At the end of a game, unless you have an opportunity to interview somebody who is a real personality, they should just scrap those altogether. Because they're just boring. They go to the losing quarterback. All he is if they go to the winning quarterback, it gives the Eli Manning. Unless it's the Super Bowl, when you get a chance to interview, like when Drew Brees was out there and they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and he's out there and his kid and all. That's great because you're at the pinnacle. Then it gets no better. It's all emotion. It's all good. Yay. But during these early playoff games, win or lose, it's
Well, we didn't play our best game today, so, we'll try better next year.
Interview whoever's pissed.
Right, they have to go for the crazy personalities, like the Rex Ryans or whatever.
With the Lions-Saints game, after the game, Aaron Berry, a cornerback for the Detroit Lions, was taking some heat for dropping a sure interception. He had a decent game. He had 7 tackles and did an okay job, but he was getting attacked on Twitter by fans of the Detroit Lions for not intercepting that. And his response was to write, "Y'all can go back to being broke and miserable. Now back to regular scheduled programming."
Oh, boy. Come on, man. These guys are so thin-skinned.
That is not the right response to make fun of the blight in Detroit.
Nope.
He then writes, he later deleted that tweet and went to Twitter again. "I apologize to my loyal fans for my tweet. Just disgusting how people can get when they don't know nothing at all."
Yeah, like how to use the English language.
Yeah.
Then the next day, by the way, in addition to that, he also made it a point to say that people were misinterpreting his tweet.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, how?
Okay, if you weren't talking to Lions fans, who were you thinking should go back to being broke and miserable? Not a great response.
No.
Now, the game everybody's going to be talking about, with apologies to Steelers fans. I know there's no doubt some listening on 97.9X, and also in Youngstown, there's Steelers fans. There's Steelers fans everywhere. They may be the most popular team in the National Football League. Yeah. They went into yesterday's game with God's Broncos, very injured, but still the favorite because the Broncos had been waylaid the final 3 weeks of the season. Tim Tebow and the Broncos worked their magic through regulation, but the Steelers tied it late. To me, it seemed like just a matter of time till the Steelers won it in overtime, but it turns out it took longer to explain the overtime playoff rules than it did for overtime to take place. First play.
And here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30, to the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. The new rules. You got to score 6 on the first possession to close it out. They do it on the very first play. He was open at the 40. Tebow hit him in stride. And there was a stiff arm by Thomas delivered at midfield that basically ended the game. Tebow passes for a career-high 316 yards in the game, just like John 3:16, everybody's saying.
Oh, my gosh, it's true.
That was an amazing finish for that game. It really was. And that crowd went crazy. I'll bet there are Broncos fans who would compare the joy from them winning that playoff game to the back-to-back Super Bowl championships under John Elway, even though a Super Bowl is worth more than a playoff win. Tim Tebow interviewed afterwards. Guess what he mentions?
When I saw him scoring, first of all, thank you, Lord. And then I was running pretty fast chasing him, like I could catch up to DT.
Thought he meant Jesus.
Then I just jumped in the stands. First time I've done that, but that was fun. And then just got on a knee, thank the Lord again, and try to celebrate with my teammates and the fans.
Man, when you hear him speak, there is no way ever that your brain could conjure a man of his size and athletic abilities.
Yeah.
He sounds like such a wiener.
Yeah. Dopey little kid.
I mean, I didn't think we would. I was running so fast. Hey,
everybody.
Like I could catch up to DT. And then I just jumped in the stands. First time I've done that, but.
He's very likable.
He is. I agree.
I was excited for the Broncos, even though I typically would root for the Steelers in that matchup. It was a crazy one.
Yeah, it's hard to root against Tebow.
Everybody keeps waiting for him to show that he's a hypocrite. Not happening. After the game, he was talking about what it's like to be an NFL player and what he enjoys most about it.
I'm just very thankful for the platform that God has given me and the opportunity to be a quarterback for, the Denver Broncos. What a great organization. And, it is special to have the platform of playing football, because I have an opportunity to affect people. And, I was very excited to have Bailey Knob here at this game, and this is a girl, football is amazing. We love it. We're so passionate about it, as you can see right there, but, the real win, at least I would say today, is, being able to comfort a girl who's gone through 73 surgeries before the game and get a chance to go hang out with her now. And, that's the biggest win of the day. And, so they're both exciting, but that's what I'm even more proud of.
Now, I heard an NFL player saying, this was off the record. It was when I was doing one of the games this year, saying, look, there are lots of guys that do charitable things. And they weren't citing this specific example because it obviously hadn't happened yet, but they were saying there are lots of guys that do charitable things, that bring sick people to games, that give tickets to poor people, but they don't mention it in the post game. Yeah. And at some point, they were making the argument that at some point, the attitude will turn on Tebow because they'll say, all right, stop paying attention for yourself. I don't think that's why he does it. That's what happens. The fact that he mentions this girl, that's a very great thing that he did, but there were probably other people at that game who had sick kids and everything there that didn't mention them in the postgame. At some point, people will turn on him, was the argument. I don't know if it's true or not.
He's an attention whore.
I think it's possible. Think so?
Yes.
What if we found out he did it on purpose? Yeah. People would be delighted.
There was no sick kids. There never has been.
That would be great. Someday, can you imagine how people's heads would spin if they found out that he had, 8 kids with 6 ladies?
With the 16-year-old sick girl.
Yep. By sick girl, I mean 18-year-old twins who are sick with nothing but
no father.
Starving horniness.
The wiener flu. I'm treating them for it.
Up next, 5 things that'll be cheaper this year and 5 things that are getting more expensive. We'll take a break. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show. Would be cool. You might get to snort ants through a straw. I don't think that's included.
Now, back to the Free Beer and Hot Wings Show.
All right. Making the pizza. Making the pizza. Sprinkle the cheese. Sprinkle the cheese.
That seemed very random. Because it is. 1-800-947-3979. Email anytime, idiots at freebeerandhotwings.com. Welcome. 97.9X. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. First day.
Very cool.
Glad to have you. Give the show a try. No doubt you will hate it at first. That is typical. I would hate it too. I always hate new things. But we say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but it really is true. That's pretty common, the reaction from a lot of places. From places where we've ended up being on for quite a while. So there's a list that came out. The end of the year and the beginning of the year are the time for lists.
Yeah.
Prime time. They have a list of 5 things that will be cheaper in 2012 and 5 things that will be more expensive in 2012. How much you want, the good news or the bad news?
Please tell me that diapers will be cheaper this year.
No, diapers will not be cheaper this year.
That's what eats all my income. Give me the good news.
Okay. The following things will be less expensive this year. iPads and tablets. Doesn't do you any good, does it?
Not really. I mean, maybe someday I'd have an iPad.
They say that because iPads and iPad 2 came out and iPad 3 is on the way, that refurbished iPads and iPads 2 will be much cheaper, and also the new one.
That's kind of the case with all technologies, though. I mean, they usually kind of do that. They advance so much that last year's whatever is always considerably cheaper than the current.
GPS units are going down. That's because your smartphone is getting better. I mean, these things used to be crazy expensive, like $500 and then the subscription or the lifetime fee. Now you can get one for $70.
Yeah, because so many people do just use their phone now.
They say right now, GPS units that cost $150 at Christmas last year cost around $70 this year, and they expect them to be cheaper. It's going to be like when you're going through the checkout at Walgreens, where you can buy some nail clippers, a big cookie made by the Amish, and one GPS unit, all for under $20. 3D TVs. A year ago, you could get a 55-inch 3D TV for $1,500. Now you can get one for under $1,000. Newer models coming out. The prices on the old models should drop dramatically. Now, when HD TV came out, plasmas and flat screens, I knew people that were getting them when they were still fairly expensive. You knew people where they'd save up, and that was the gift for the entire family. I don't know one person who's gotten 3D television. Alex, you know anyone who's gotten 3D television?
No.
Joe?
I know one, and his ex-wife worked at Best Buy, so they probably got it for dirt cheap.
They probably knocked it off the shelf. It broke.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretend broke.
They scratched
we'll
it a
have
little.
that for 90% off now.
Took a key to it.
But that's it. I mean, and it was pretty cool, but there were only a few channels with 3D capability.
Yeah.
And none of them were anything I would have wanted to watch.
Yeah. Right, that's the thing.
Yeah, I've seen 3D movies and I've viewed 3D television before, but to me it's still kind of a novelty. The idea of putting on the glasses and all that just seems...
Yeah, I want to watch a movie. I'm going to look like Geordie LaForge or whatever the guy's name was from Star Trek.
And those glasses are like $300 a piece.
Yeah, they're expensive.
They're fairly cumbersome.
You know, I mean, it looks pretty good. It's a cool novelty, but I'm still pretty cool with just normal HD.
I never thought HD. You never thought of that as novelty, but to me, the 3D seemed like novelty. Maybe not. Maybe it'll work.
Well, yeah.
Car rentals will be cheaper this year. Well, that would be refreshing. Rental companies apparently have a surplus of cars, so they're predicting deals. It still feels like a screw job in most cases.
I so got screwed over the holidays.
You did on your impromptu trip?
On my impromptu trip.
If you're new to the show, wait until you hear. Well, even if you're not new to the show, in about 40 minutes, Joe's going to tell us about his impromptu trip that he made.
Yeah, this was not planned.
This was never something that would have been part of my DNA, ever. It couldn't be further from my DNA now that I have the first child on the way. But it wouldn't matter. If I was 22 and had $1 million, I wouldn't have done what Joe did.
I'm mad that I never did the things Joe does. Joe is smart enough to do these crazy things while he has the opportunity to do them.
I don't even know if I go that far.
I don't know that I would have done this particular thing, but things like this I wish I would have done more of.
Yeah.
Because once you get married and have children, you can't just up and do what Joe did.
No,
it's impossible.
You can. You say,
Well,
honey,
you
I'm going
can.
out to get some cigarettes, and then you don't come back.
Yeah, then you come back 3 or
Joe
4
learned it
days
from his
later.
dad.
Yeah, my dad used to take impromptu